They reached for a hug, and I stepped back. "Sorry. Do I know you?" The woman blinked, stunned. "We're your parents." I looked them in the eyes, calm, cold, measured. "My parents are at home." Then I turned, sat beside my grandmother, and let the silence ring like thunder. They sat behind us in the pews. I could feel their eyes, hot, desperate, searching for the child they left behind. But I wasn't that child anymore, and they weren't my parents. Not anymore. I was 6 when they left me, not with goodbye, not with context, not even with love. Just, "You're going to visit Gran for a while." A suitcase by the door. A kiss that didn't mean anything. A car that never came back. My sister had gotten sick. Something rare, something serious. And in the face of that, I guess I became too much. So they gave me away. Dropped me off like a piece of laundry. Like I was the part of their life that didn't fit into the crisis. I waited for them to come back. Days. Weeks. Eventually, my grandparents told me the truth. They were angry, but soft with me. My uncle, my dad's brother, took me in. Him and his wife. No hesitation. No conditions. They told me later that they couldn't have kids. That maybe fate got it wrong at first, but it corrected itself. They said I was a miracle. They said the stork just misrouted me. And slowly, I started to believe it. I saw my biological parents maybe 5 times after that. Awkward. Brief. Performative. Then nothing. By the time I was 12, I stopped calling. And since I was the only one ever reaching out, that was the end of it. I spent birthdays blowing out candles with people who never made me feel like an afterthought. I had parents who showed up to school plays, who picked me up when I was sick, who hugged me tight and called me theirs, not because of DNA, but because they chose me. And when I turned 18, they made it official. Adopted. Finally, fully, theirs. It was the best birthday of my life. 9 years of silence. No calls, no cards, no effort. And then, Thanksgiving. My sister died. She was 23. She had held on longer than anyone expected. Her illness had taken her slowly, painfully, piece by piece. I hadn't seen her since I was 6, but I still had her letters. She used to write me when she could. She'd tell me all the things she wanted to do when she got better. Trips we'd take, games we'd play, secrets we'd share. She missed me. I missed her too. But my parents made sure we grew up apart. Because of her illness, no one could visit. She had no immune system. By the time she was old enough to choose for herself, she wasn't mentally able to. They took her, and they took our relationship with her. So when the funeral came, I showed up. But I stayed in the back, and I left before they could find me. They tried to get to me through my uncle, my real dad. He told them gently that I wasn't available, and that should have been the end. But they weren't done. Christmas Eve, midnight mass. The church was full, candles lit, the air thick with incense and old grief. I came with my grandmother. They found me. I felt the tap on my shoulder first. I turned, and there they were, faces I hadn't seen in nearly a decade. "Sweetheart." I stepped back. "Sorry. Do I know you?" "We're your parents." I shook my head, calm, precise. "My parents are at home." And I turned away. They followed me to the pews, sat behind me like ghosts. And on the way out, "You really don't recognize us?" I smiled. "Oh, are you my dad's brother? I think I remember you from when I was little." That was it. I got into the car with my gran. She didn't say much until we got home. And then she said, "They deserved it, trying to come back to you like nothing happened." They sent a letter after that, a long one, about how hurt they were, about how they only ever tried to do the right thing, about how they'll always be my parents, and how I can't change that. They were wrong. I did change it. 3 years ago, when I stood in front of a judge, flanked by the only people who never left me behind, I changed it. Legally, emotionally, entirely. My parents are the ones who made room for me, not the ones who abandoned me. But still, I sat with that letter, held it in my hands. They were grieving. Yes, but so was I. I grieved for the childhood I lost, for the parents I never got to have, for the sister I never got to know. Other family members said I was harsh, that I should understand they're in pain. But where was that understanding when I was 6? Where was that compassion when I cried at night, waiting for a call that never came? Where was that effort when I turned 12 and finally stopped trying? They don't get to come back now, just because the child they chose is gone. They can't open the door they locked shut 15 years ago and expect to find me waiting. Because I moved on, and I'm happy. Maybe someday, if they learn how to show up without expectation, they could be something like an aunt and uncle. But I already have parents. They call me their miracle, and I call them mom and dad. So, am I the asshole? This is the AITA Story Vault, and here's what I know. Sometimes, abandonment doesn't happen in one moment. It happens in the slow silence that follows, in the unreturned calls, the forgotten birthdays, the years of absence dressed up as sacrifice. And when those people come back, not to take accountability, but to rewrite history, you don't owe them your forgiveness. What you owe is to protect the version of yourself that waited, that hurt, that needed them, and got nothing. If you've ever been that child, if you've ever been the one left behind, this story is for you. Let us know in the comments, have you ever had someone try to come back into your life after they abandoned it? And if so, did you let them in? Until next time, protect your peace. This has been the AITA Story Vault.